set the tone and talking about setting the tone. It's really interesting that women's health identified as a key priority for young Australians as the Youth Parliament national matter of public importance was launched on Monday, and it was a national virtual event co-hosted by the 2025 Youth Governors, Administrators and Y Australia. So we thought we'd catch up with the New South Wales Youth Governor. Yeah, Youth Governor, too deadly. And this is Leanne Sequoia, and we've got her on the line. Hey, Leanne, welcome to Black Chat.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so so you grew up in Gosford, was that right?
Yes, I live like 20 minutes away from Gosford.
Yeah, so what was it like growing up there in Gosford?
It's a regional town. It's very cute, very small. There's been more people coming to the coast, and it's really nice to see. I live 5 minutes away from the beach, so it's quite nice.
It's like water. So your background, what's your background?
So my parents are both from South India, and I was born in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then we immigrated from India to Australia when I was 3 years old.
Oh, but did you have much understanding? You have memories at all of Dubai or Indian culture?
I have no memories of Dubai, but I've been back to India a few times because all my family lives there.
Yep.
So it's been really nice to see them.
And what made you want to get involved in politics here in Australia?
The funny thing is, I've never actually been interested in politics. I had never, before Youth Parliament, had never watched Question Time, never been to Parliament, had no interest really, but I was really passionate about helping people and giving back to my community. And so I guess that, plus the opportunities that I had I met with my local Member of Parliament, Lisa Tesh.
Yep.
And so through her, I ended up finding out about the Youth Parliament. I said, okay, why not? I'll just give it a go, sign up and see what happens. And I ended up getting in, and I was really grateful and really surprised, actually. And it opened the doors to so many things that I would have never thought about. And now I'm pursuing, hopefully, a career in advocacy.
Oh, wow, that's because you're only 18. You're 18 now.
Yes, I actually turned 19 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you? You're getting older. Yeah, you're getting older there. Well, I mean, this is great because we know that Generation Z or Z and millenniums are, outvoting older generations and boomers and all that. But then we've got your generation that's coming along. And are you finding that people your age are wanting to get more involved in the politics because of, what's happening? Everything's changing. We've got all this technology now. So you're finding that more people are interested, younger generation?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've met, through Youth Parliament last year, actually, I've met so many people who I never thought I would meet otherwise, who are interested about, advocacy, about giving back. Some are interested in entering politics. Some are interested in doing other things related to the government and ministries and stuff like that. But it's definitely, young people are really passionate about giving back and improving because, we are the leaders of today and tomorrow and the future generations. And so it's all up to our hands, really, to give back and to change what we can.
Okay, so is it very multicultural? And what is it? Who makes up? How many are there in the Youth Parliament?
So last year we had 73 youth participants, and this year we actually increased to 93 participants, and we tried to get a participant from each electorate, which we almost got there, but hopefully we'll get them next year. And we have people from all walks of life. There are people of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander backgrounds, people who are immigrants, people who grew up in rural and regional areas, people from metropolitan areas. There are people from literally every place. Everyone is so multicultural, so diverse, and it's people you would never think of meeting otherwise, no people you would run into because they're from all over New South Wales. Like, I learned about so many new places that I wouldn't have known otherwise, and some of my close friends are now living in those areas.
Do you think we should be using the word migrant? Because everybody's a migrant to this country except for First Nation people, because we've always been multicultural and we're even growing. I mean, at the moment, the largest intake or the largest populations are from Indian, and we do have an agreement, a world trade agreement with India. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yep, it's the largest intake at the moment. Yes, no, from India. So it's it's amazing the multiculturalism. So maybe we can get rid of that word migrant and call it multicultural more so than migrants, because everyone's a migrant here. So how did you become the youth governor? How does that work out? Being a governor?
So it was a very interesting process. I found out about the youth governor position last year during my time at Youth Parliament. And they said, okay, they didn't really tell me much about it. They said, okay, here's this position called youth governor. If you want to sign up, you sign up. And I was like, okay, well, again, I have nothing to lose. So I put my name down, and they said, okay, you have to do a 1 or 2 minute speech at our residential camp in the July holidays. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And I stood there on my stage, quaking in my little boots. I was so nervous, but I got through my speech, and then we had just a voting system. So they said the top 3 preferences of who you want to be your youth governor. And I somehow, luckily, made it into the top 3. And then from there, we had a formal interview process. And we had the past youth governor, our youth coordinator, and our youth voice manager. I can't remember the actual title, but there was a panel, and they essentially decided on who would become youth governor. Yeah. And we found out at our NAIDOC celebration last year. So it was a very exciting process, very different, very strange, but I got elected, and I was so in shock that I sat down in my seat for 5 minutes before I got up on that stage because I was so shook.
Wow. So what was your speech about?
I honestly don't remember much. I kind of blanked out from then.
Yep.
But I do remember I was talking about, so as youth governor, you have a youth governance project. And so it's a project that's supposed to improve the youth parliament program each year. And so every year we try to increase an aspect of the program so it's more inclusive, more safe, and just improving the program as a whole so more people will come and join the following year. And so I talked about how I wanted to have to teach youth parliamentarians elevator pitches, which I actually delivered last week. I proposed and taught our cohort how to do elevator pitches and how to talk to people and converse with the intention of changing something, with creating or giving back or a call to action.
So do you think it's made a big difference on the way you think, that you've met so many different young people from different cultural backgrounds?
Oh, yes, definitely. I've met so many people. There's just, it's amazing to see how everyone thinks and how everyone feels about their issues. Youth Parliament is a place where, young people can come and talk about issues that they are passionate about and advocate for issues within their community, within their personal lives. And they do that with the intention of either giving back or changing something. They want to see and create change themselves.
Okay, well, we've got this 2025. We've just had matters of public importance, and that was a debate that was held. That was officially launched on Monday. So yes. What happens after? What happens there, and where do we go from there?
So essentially, the 2025 matter of public importance is a topic that the youth governors from all over Australia choose. Oh. And so this year we decided on women's health because we felt, and young people also supported this, that it was an incredibly increasing issue within our society that we needed to address. And so we decided to choose that topic, especially for our debate this year. So this year, each state has different times that they do their parliamentary sitting week. And so in New South Wales, we're doing this from, I think it kicks off July 14th. And so the youth parliamentarians will visit Parliament House and actually sit in chamber for 4 days. And on the first day, we have the 2025 matter of national importance, public importance debate. And so that essentially means that people debate about this topic, what they want to see happen, and essentially, similarly like any other bill that's passed through Parliament, it will be discussed and debated, and hopefully a great outcome will come out of it.
Wow. So you still are you still at school? I mean, you've left school. You've done your senior. Are you intending to go to university or to TAFE? What?
Yes, I'm currently I'm currently on break actually.
Yep.
I finished my first semester of uni at the University of Technology, Sydney.
Yep.
So I'm currently completing my Bachelor of Communications in Social and Political Science.
Whoa. How was that? How do you feel that's going to help you move forward into maybe looking at politics and?
More about youth advocacy, and essentially I wanted to take what I learned in Youth Parliament and put it in a new context and help people young people feel heard, and help them find their own confidence, direction, and purpose within their own lives. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I hope that through that, young people feel heard and supported outside of their schooling life, because I personally felt that I had so much more to give than, what I put in at school and in my grades.
Mm-hmm. Also, too, what's the percentage of male-female within the Youth Parliament?
We try and support more women in Youth Parliament. We want more, obviously, a balance, but we have a lot more women speaking up, which is amazing to see, because in Parliament, in real life, it's becoming more balanced. So we want to see that more balanced, and we want all young people, of course, but more women, more First Nations people to have their voices heard and to be present within chamber.
Okay, then, well, we've got the Albanese government. They've promised to invest $790 million in women's health to provide Australian women with more choices and better treatment at lower cost. Are you aware of that? And is that going to be part of that some of that money will be involved with the Youth Parliament?
I was not aware of that, and I'm not sure what the Albanese government is planning to do with that. No.
Yep. No. So, what's how many times did they meet a year, and what do they also offer you? To go into Parliament and listen to politicians as well.
Can you repeat that question?
I said, how often do you meet, and then do you have an opportunity to sit in Parliament and listen to politicians?
Well, we have two camps for Youth Parliament. We have one which is called Training Camp, which is in the April school holidays, and that's a 3-day camp. And then we have a camp in July school holidays, and that's a 4-day camp. And so 5-day camp, sorry. Yep. And during those times, the youth parliamentarians will discuss their bills, they'll get to debate, and they'll learn information about how to advocate more clearly and give back to their communities. And during the term 2, which is what we're currently term 2 of the school term, they have a hybrid period. So the participants meet online every week with their committees and discuss whatever issue that they're talking about.
Wow.
And then it's amazing. Also, and for the politicians, we have guest speakers. So sometimes the ministers of a certain committee will come and attend the meeting, and they will be the speaker and basically host the debate.
Also, too, is language an issue as well? We've got very multicultural as well as not just our people, but a lot of other people that speak other languages, and we're noticing that more now is being translated into other languages. Is that what the Youth Parliament will do too, to make other cultures aware of what's going on?
I'm not sure about that, but what I can say is that it is continuing to be an inclusive place, and it is all about making sure that young people feel heard and safe, and that their voices are raised, and their concerns are raised, and that what they say and what they are passionate about is actually translated into something more than just a voice. Or it's about bringing all of that together and making sure that young people feel safe in their communities, and they also feel heard and supported by the community.
And also, too, how long's your term as the youth governor?
My term as a youth governor is for 1 year, and then the next youth governor will be elected at the residential camp in July, and then they will serve for their year.
Now, you said the other camp there, the first one was training camp for 3 days. Training in what,
Yeah.
sorry?
Training in the fact that it's training them up to be youth parliamentarians. So we're essentially teaching them what it means to be part of a chamber, and how legislative assembly works, and how all these forms and procedures happen. And so it's essentially, we have people who come, for example, let's take me.
Yep.
I came from a place that I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know who people were. I didn't know how bills were passed in Parliament. And so training camp is about really teaching everyone how these forms and procedures work. And then we also have people guest speakers who may come and talk to us as well.
Oh, no, that's good, because even if you're not going to want to get into politics, you're understanding the politics and how that you can work outside of politics. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's teaching them how change occurs and how bills are passed through Parliament. A youth Parliament is actually an apolitical program, so we don't actually talk about politics specifically.
Yep.
But we are shown how this change occurs. And I think one of the best things about youth Parliament is the fact that you really understand where people are coming from. Everyone, not just in youth Parliament, but in Parliament altogether, everyone comes from a place of wanting to create change for their community. And at the end of the day, it makes you really realize that everyone is human. Everyone has things that they are passionate about and things that they want to improve. And no matter what politicians' intentions are, that they are trying to create change for their communities, and they're doing that in their own ways. And that's really cool to see.
The other concern there is you're born into the technological world, into the Star Trek world. The concerns there is AI. Now, are we discussing those things? Because AI is being used for some time, but it could be an influence, and they're saying, companies are starting to use AI rather than people. So are we getting an appreciation there of coming together and talking about AI and how we should or shouldn't be using it?
AI is actually a really interesting topic, and I think it's not a really big focus yet in youth Parliament specifically, because there are also a lot of other issues that are personally affecting youth parliamentarians. Yep. But it is something that we have and are continuing to discuss in communities and in school as well. So I think it's an interesting thing, and we'll hear more, I think, conversation about that in the future. But currently we're looking at things like cost of living, the housing crisis. Those are the things that are really impacting young people at the moment, because it's stopping us from buying houses and buying groceries, and if you have a car, buying fuel. And those are the things that for young people, especially me, who's trying to essentially move out of house eventually, that those are the things that I need to be able to access to be able to start my own life outside of my parents.
Yes, no, that's true, because also homelessness too. They've did you know that they've got the Australian Alliance to End Homelessness? They've got a big gathering tomorrow at Martin Place at 6:00, and that's for those. They're saying there that the annual memorial to honour the lives of people who have died homeless on the street there. So it's a pretty serious. It's a short night of the year. It says it's the shortest night of the year to honour the lives of people who have died while experiencing homelessness in Sydney in the past 12 months. So. The figures are pretty shocking. And will you be attending that, or were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so it's a memorial for those who've died homeless. Yeah, so that's the Australian, maybe get the media person, Australian Alliance to End Homelessness, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, thank you, Leanne, thank you very much for coming on, and keep up the great work. And how many, if you're a governor, do you have like a personal assistant, or how does it work? you know?
It's more a role where I have to be responsible for myself.
Yep.
And I'm also a role model for the youth parliamentarians. So
Yep.
the youth governor, essentially, my role is to be the middle ground between the Y task force and the manager, as well as the youth parliamentarians. So the youth parliamentarians should be able to come to me if they have a concern, and that I can pass that along. And essentially, I'm a role model. And so I have a lot of roles and responsibilities as the youth governor, but it's actually a really amazing opportunity, and I'm really grateful to be able to serve as the 2025 youth governor.
Well, look, you got a lot of look. Thank you. Big congratulations goes to you and all the others that are out there. But hopefully, you'll be seeing more of you. And I've got your number now, so I'll be able to, catch you down the track. So
right.
Good luck. Have a
Thank
great
you
weekend.
so much.
And I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Thank you. Bye for now, Leah.
Thank you.
Bye. And what a deadly young woman she is there, eh? Leanne Sequoia, and she is the New South Wales Youth Governor. And as they say, they have been chosen for the 2025 matter of public importance, and there was a debate by Youth Parliament, and that was launched. The national virtual event was co-hosted by the 2025 Youth Governors, Administrators and Why Australia on Monday. Yes, so we'll keep you updated with that. And participants were asked to identify issues they believe deserve national attention, and it resulted in over 25 unique topics here, being education access, mental health, climate change and environmental, sustainability, cost of living and housing affordability, gender equality and women's safety, and access to healthcare and health equality. So, but it's also too a big push for this one was women's health, identified as a key priority for young Australians as the Youth Parliament meeting. So stay tuned. And we'll do as Jason Lee Scott says, and this is what they've done to the Youth Parliament right across the country, from a desert to the sea, here on Black Chat.